June 1944. Saipan falls to American forces. Tokyo receives the news. The room goes silent. What happens next changes everything for Japan. One general walks out without saying a word. Another breaks protocol completely. And the third? His reaction makes them realize the war is already lost. But here's what nobody expected. The emperor's response isn't what you think. Because when they heard about Saipan, Japanese high command knew 3 terrifying truths. And the first one? It meant the homeland was now within bombing range. The moment of silence. The telegram arrives at Imperial Headquarters in Tokyo. July 9, 1944. Morning light filters through the windows. Saipan has fallen. 30,000 Japanese soldiers gone. The room fills with Japan's most powerful military leaders. Generals who conquered nations, admirals who ruled the Pacific. They read the message together. Nobody speaks. For 5 full minutes, absolute silence. These are men who never show emotion. Men trained since childhood to hide their feelings. But today is different. General Tojo stands at the window. His hands shake slightly. He doesn't turn around. Admiral Nagano sits frozen at the table. The paper trembles in his grip. Because they all understand what this means. Saipan isn't just another island. It's not like the others they've lost before. This one changes everything. But why? What makes Saipan so different? The answer lies in a number, a distance, a terrible calculation. The terrible distance. 1,500 miles. That's the distance from Saipan to Tokyo. 1,500 miles of open ocean. General Umezu finally breaks the silence. His voice is barely a whisper. The B-29s can reach us now. Everyone in the room knows what that means. America's new super bomber, the Boeing B-29 Super Fortress, the most advanced aircraft in the world. Its range? 1,600 miles, fully loaded with bombs. Do the math. Saipan to Tokyo, 1,500 miles. The B-29's range, 1,600 miles. For the first time in history, Japan's home islands are vulnerable. Every city, every factory, every civilian. Admiral Toyota speaks next. Our children. He stops. Cannot finish the sentence. These are military men. They've sent thousands to die. But this is different. Their own families are now in the crosshairs. But the generals don't know something else yet. Something worse. A decision already made in Washington. The breakdown of protocol. General Saito breaks military protocol. He stands up, knocks his chair backward, walks out of the room without being dismissed. In the Japanese military, this is unthinkable. You don't leave. You don't show emotion. You especially don't walk out on your superior officers. But Saito doesn't care anymore. The others watch him go. Nobody stops him. Nobody says a word. Admiral Nagano does something equally shocking. He removes his cap, places it on the table, covers his face with both hands. A Japanese admiral, crying, in front of his fellow officers. General Tojo finally turns from the window. His face is gray, aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Gentlemen, he says slowly, we must speak the truth now. The truth. That word hangs in the air like smoke. because for 3 years, Japanese high command has been lying to their soldiers, to their people, to themselves. But what truth is Tojo talking about? The numbers don't lie. We have lost the war. Tojo says it out loud, 5 words that could get him executed. The other officers stare at him. Some nod slowly, others look away, but nobody argues, because the numbers don't lie, and they all know the numbers. Japan's navy destroyed at Midway, their carriers sunk, their best pilots dead, their oil supplies almost gone. And America? America is just getting started. General Umezu pulls out a report, intelligence from their spies. The numbers are staggering. America is building 1 aircraft carrier every month, 1 heavy bomber every hour, 1 fighter plane every 5 minutes. How do we fight this? Someone whispers. They can't. That's the answer. They cannot fight American industrial power. It's like fighting the ocean itself. But here's what makes it worse. Here's what makes Saipan the breaking point. The people, the civilians. 20,000 Japanese civilians lived on Saipan. And what happened to them changes everything.
The horror they cannot speak. The reports come in throughout the day. Details from Saipan. What happened during the final days. What the civilians did when American forces closed in. Admiral Toyota reads the report out loud. His voice cracks multiple times. Hundreds of Japanese families, mothers, fathers, children, they walked to the cliffs, the northern cliffs of Saipan overlooking the ocean, and they jumped. Entire families holding hands, leaping into the sea, choosing death over capture. Why? Because Japanese propaganda told them Americans were monsters, that capture meant torture, that death was better. The generals sit in stunned silence. This is what their own propaganda created, their own lies, coming back to haunt them. If this happens on Saipan, General Anami cannot finish, but everyone understands. Saipan had 20,000 civilians. Japan's home islands, 70 million people. If the Americans invade Japan itself, if Japanese civilians believe the propaganda, if they think death is better than surrender, the math is too horrible to contemplate. The Emperor must know. We must tell the Emperor. General Tojo says it firmly, no more delays, no more sugarcoating the truth. For years, they've been protecting Emperor Hirohito from bad news, telling him about victories, minimizing defeats, making excuses. But Saipan cannot be minimized, cannot be explained away. The Emperor must know that the war is lost. But there's a problem. A big problem. Japanese culture, Japanese honor, Japanese military code. Surrender is not an option. It never has been. The code of Bushido, the way of the warrior. You fight until death. You never give up. How do you tell an emperor that his empire must surrender? Admiral Nagano speaks carefully. If we tell him the truth, if we suggest surrender, we could be accused of treason. Treason in wartime Japan means execution, for you, for your family, for everyone you know. These generals must choose, tell the truth and risk death, or keep lying and watch their nation burn. What would you do? The meeting that changes everything. July 18th, 1944, 9 days after Saipan fell. Prime Minister Tojo requests an audience with Emperor Hirohito. It's granted immediately. Tojo enters the imperial palace alone. No other generals, no witnesses, just him and the emperor. What was said in that room? Nobody knows for certain. No official record exists, no transcript, no notes. But we know what happened next. Tojo emerges 2 hours later. His face is unreadable. He says nothing to the officers waiting outside. The next day, an announcement shocks the entire Japanese government. Prime Minister Tojo resigns. After 3 years leading Japan's war effort, after conquering half of Asia, after declaring victory after victory, he's done. General Koiso takes over as Prime Minister, but everyone knows the truth. Japan is looking for a way out, a way to end the war without calling it surrender. But America isn't interested in negotiations. America wants unconditional surrender. And the bombing? It's about to begin. The prophecy fulfilled. November 24th, 1944, 4 months after Saipan fell. Air raid sirens scream across Tokyo. People look up, see them coming. 111 B-29 superfortresses flying from Saipan, just like the generals predicted, just like they feared. The prophecy is fulfilled. The nightmare is real. Bombs rain down on Tokyo. Factories explode. Buildings collapse. Fires rage. This is just the beginning. Over the next 9 months, American B-29s launch hundreds of raids. Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, Kobe, every major city. The March 1945 firebombing of Tokyo kills 100,000 people in a single night. All launched from Saipan, the island Japanese High Command tried so desperately to defend. By August 1945, Japan lies in ruins. Then come the atomic bombs, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Emperor Hirohito finally does what his generals couldn't. He surrenders unconditionally. The war that began at Pearl Harbor, that consumed the Pacific, that killed millions, it ends where Japanese High Command knew it would end. The moment they heard about Saipan, the moment they understood, the moment they knew the truth. That day in July 1944, when the telegram arrived, when nobody spoke, when the terrible silence said everything, they knew. The Japanese High Command's reaction to the U.S. captured Saipan revealed their deepest fears. Japanese military response to Saipan's U.S. invasion was silence and despair. Japanese government official statements about the capture of Saipan couldn't hide the truth. Japanese military despair over Saipan's loss marked the turning point. Japanese leadership's response to Saipan's defeat was resignation. The psychological effect on Japanese commanders after Saipan was devastation. Their quotes tell the story. "We have lost the war." 5 words, one terrible truth. Saipan changed everything.